To going, yeah. Hi, this is Dr. Munsell again. Sorry to be in your face. And you can't see that at all, can you? Ugh. Well, it's the lighting, I think. But it really doesn't matter because you have this. This is the syllabus or the screen. Um, and you can just sort of listen to me and follow along, or watch me print out the syllabus if you want to watch print out the syllabus, or look at it. This is CMC. Look at it on your tablet or something like that as you are using another device to listen to me. I stopped. Sorry, I'm back. I'm in my office now. I have a class tonight. It is Tuesday, January 10th. 6:13, and I would like to try to. That's a monkey. I got it in Mexico. Those are Mardi Gras beads that I got in Louisiana because I lived there. I want to try to get through some of the rest of the syllabus, and again, I apologize the way that all these lectures are going to be. They're sort of very short and brief. In part, you can watch a little bit at the time, but also, for the life of me, I cannot get YouTube to upload more than like 15 minutes worth of stuff. And so, and I've tried, I've worked with IT, nothing. So anyway, that's why I do that. Where I ended was just talking about what the course is all about. And so I stopped on what is page 6 on the syllabus with the general course description. And so I'm going to start there and try to hammer out the rest of this so you all can have a better understanding of the class, even though you can't see that. Which I don't think it even matters that. Sorry. I can see that. This is very collegiate. Hello. That was Trump. I don't know if he knows how to use a phone. Or you can tweet, but in any case, course description. One of the things that's really important to me that you understand is this is not supposed to be a how-to type of course, and I'm not a how-to type of person per se. So this isn't like a CIS class, or this isn't teaching you how to do certain software or coding or anything like that, nor necessarily how to. Well, it is some in any case, but it is a big, broad, theoretical, conceptual type of class, and so that's really, really important for you to know. And it's because social media and again CMC is bigger than just social media, but it impacts our lives in so many different ways. And so what we're considering is the link between communication and all this technological stuff, and how all that stuff impacts things like our identity, how we see who we are, our relationships, our communities. I mean, just think how relationships have changed over the past decade or so in light of all this crazy tech stuff. I don't talk to my wife anymore. Why do I need to? I can text her. But in any case, and so it's a big picture course for us to deeply think about the role of CMC in our lives and the future and all that type of stuff. So just so you know that. So generally speaking, and the textbook, which I showed you already, is one of the most up-to-date, even though it's a little bit dated. But nonetheless, I mean, it takes forever for books to get published, for academic books to get published, because they have to go through peer review and all that type of stuff. So, and this is real scholarship, not, fake news. And so some of the things, the book has 4 different sections, or 4 different units, whatever you want to call them, and generally those units are the influence of technology on how relational partners communicate online. And we say relational partners, it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. I mean, it's your friends or whatever. But some of it is romantic. There's actually a chapter on online dating and how that has impacted our lives. I saw a commercial the other day about online dating site for farmers. Um, I find that funny. Um, so that's the first, how technology how it has impacted relational partners' communication. Second area is process and goals in computer-mediated communication and more personal relationships. So we're getting into their influences on different relational contexts, and there's like 3 different chapters about different contexts, family, blah blah blah. We'll talk about that. I don't have the book in front of me, but and then the last part is the dark side. Cyberbullying, cyber sex. I mean, there's sexting. No sexting, but I mean, it's part of our culture now, and it's problematic. It's the dark side. People can very very easily take pictures of themselves, and sometimes it gets on the internet, and it's crazy. So those are sort of the areas that we're going to be looking at, and therefore the learning outcomes, what I want you to get out of this class include, I want you to understand the influence of technology and how it has impacted our relational communication, particularly online. I want you to understand the various processes and goals of using CMC in our relationships with other people and whatever. Understand the influence of CMC in different relational contexts. Understand the influence of, or understand the dark side of CMC and the problematic aspects of all this type of stuff in our relationships and in other situations. So the good and the bad and the ugly, I suppose. I know that's all sort of vague, and oftentimes student learning outcomes are very vague. But things will become, I think, more clear as we get through the various specifics of the concepts and the ideas in the chapters in the book. One thing I've been putting on, this is the next section. I'm on page 7 now. If you want to scroll down with me, I've always put in the syllabus all these things about gaining career skills and everything like that, and then I decided, to reiterate the idea that college education is not necessarily just about getting a job. It's bigger and better than that, and I don't like the idea of soft skills. There's nothing soft about the most important essential skills that people should have to be successful in their lives. So what I have is a link for you to the most recent that I could find for free of skills that employers want to see, and so some of it is technological skills. I will let you on your own follow the link, go down the rabbit hole, and you will find things like leadership. People want college students to have leadership, ability to work in team, communication skills, problem solving skills, blah 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 blah, computer skills, all these flexibility, interpersonal skills, creativity. You're going to be creative in this class. But in any case, you could take a look at that. And then moving on to page 8, there's this little section in the syllabus that says, is this experiential learning? Yeah, why not? It's online, and it's outside of the classroom, and we're experiencing virtual things. I'll let you read that. Okay, so this is the stuff that everybody wants to know. Finally, in part 3, 10 minutes here. Here are the things that you will be graded on. These are the assignments. So, the first thing that we're going to be doing, and these are not necessarily in chronological order, but so we got the forms, and so I'll say more about that in a second, but that's worth 10% of the grade. And for those of you who've taken classes from me before, you know this is old news. You're going to use Twitter, and I'm going to ask you to have a tweet per week that has something to do with CMC or response to the class, whatever. Because Twitter is just crazy now, particularly with Trump, tweeting like 25 tweets a night. weekly professional emails. Again, going back to one of the things that folks want college graduates to be able to do, and that is to write professional emails. And we'll talk about that because I get a lot of emails that are not professional. I send a lot of emails that are professional, but things like subject lines and dear blah, 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 blah. You need to know how to write good professional emails if you're going to be successful in this, CMC world in which we live. There's going to be 2 papers. There's going to be a paper on an applicable website, and that is a website that you might be particularly talks about a professional area that you might be particularly invested in, and it will talk about issues of what you're looking at is the information that the website provides. The more specific information, by the way, on website paper is on page 11. But basically, you're looking at a website that explores the best practices of using CMC, social media, or whatever, in a context of what you're interested in doing. And then I sort of give you some specifics about, 5 pages. You can have a little bit more, and I'll say a lot more about this later. I'm just sort of introducing you to it right now. But maybe some of you want to go into health communication or the healthcare industry, which is huge. Can you find a website that says, okay, here are the best practices of how people should be using social media or CMC, whatever you want to call it, in that health context? Because that's a huge problem right now. Because I have a lot of friends who are doctors, and they hate, folks go on, my stomach hurts or something like that, and then you go on to WebMD or something, and you diagnose yourself with some sort of an alien lizard, so there's a lot of stuff out there. Maybe you're interested in going into government. Are there best practices on how people use social media in government? So that's sort of what you're going to be doing, and you're going to be making an argument or a point about whatever it is that you read. But basically, what I'm asking you to do is you're going to have sort of 2 parts. The first, in a sense, is summarizing what the website has to say. Okay, here's a website I found on best practices of using CMC, and sometimes they won't use the terminology CMC. They might say social media or something like that. So summarize that, and the second part of the paper is going to be evaluating those ideas and how you might specifically want to use those in some sort of future career. Maybe you want to go into nonprofit. What are their best practices there? So here's what I found on this particular website. We'll talk about good websites to look at, and then here's how I'm going to be able to apply that in my own life or my current job. I don't know. Okay. So that's the first paper. The second paper is going to be, and the specifics on that, and by the way, grading matrices and whatever you want to call them, the specific things, exactly what I'm going to grade you on will be on KC, and I'll talk about those later. The second paper is going to be, you're going to do it pretty much exactly like the other one, but this time what you are doing is looking at it's not a website, right? But rather you're looking at a chapter. The format is the same, but of the first paper, but you are taking a particular chapter in the book, and then you are applying that to your own life. So you are first part summarizing some sort of chapter in your book, and then second part applying that to your life. So let's say you pick, I don't know, maybe you've had some experience with christianmingle.com or the farmer datafarmer.com. Oh, that's funny. I farm. I have a garden, and I come from a stock of farmers in the Midwest. But it still sort of tickles me. Hey. Oh, okay. Never mind.